Griffith, Indiana explained. Hey, whether you've lived in Griffith your entire life or you're new to the area and just checking things out, this video is for you. In this video, we're going to checking into history of Griffith, where the location, where exactly is it, similar surrounding towns, subdivisions, commuting, demographics, schools, crime, water. Why is water on there? That's a thing to know about Northwest Indiana, is water makes it different. Things to do, taxes, home prices, and much more. So, pulling up my trusty Google Earth here, you see Griffith, Indiana. This is the town boundary, and let me zoom out a bit so we can see more what's going on in the area. I got my layers, a lot of layers turned on, so let me turn some of those off. Okay, I just need to zoom out a little. All right, so Griffith, we'll see that we're just south of Lake Michigan. So here is the Illinois-Indiana border. Let me grab my drawing tool right here. And so we're going to see the Illinois-Indiana border is right here. Again, we're looking at Griffith, which is right here. Main roadways through the area, 280, 94 takes us east-west. And if you wanted to go to Chicago from Griffith, you'd hop on 94 here, and you can take 94 north. Or if you're a commuter and need to get to like the northwest suburbs, or say the airports, so here's Midway Airport to Griffith, you would hop on Griffith, you go north to 294 and or Cicero up here, and this will get you further to the northwest. And I-65 is one of the other main north-south roads, and so you got great highway access from Griffith. And here's some history on Griffith, of which you can read there. But what of note here is that Elmer and J. Dwiggins are the two developers who are known as the town founders of Griffith. The area was named after Benjamin Griffith, a railroad engineer, and Griffith was incorporated as a town in 1904. Their first board meeting was held in November 19th, 1904. The Griffith Public School System was established in 1912. So population is getting into some facts and figures about Griffith. So population about 16,000, about 50% male. Average age is 38.2. I'm actually over that now, so it's a little scary for me. All right, 63, almost 64,000 the median household income. Median rents about $1,025. That seems a little low from probably where this currently was from last data. Cost of living, Griffith's got a relatively lower cost of living. Housing's not as expensive there, so it's as a U.S. average, we're at of being 100. Griffith is at 91, so a little less than the U.S. average. Property taxes are very favorable. We have another slide that gets into that. That's about $1,600 as median taxes. Here's some stats from marital status. Here's some stats here about educational status. And all right, cost of living. This graphic we already covered this, but it's a nice graphic to see of cost of living in the area. And one thing I just wanted to show here is that, if you're interested, obviously you're interested in Griffith, Indiana, I've got a couple other playlists. All right, so if you do a YouTube search my name, Tony Anzer, you're going to find my channel of what you're looking at here. And if you go to playlists, you're going to see that we have a Griffith, Indiana playlist. And from that, got a couple other videos you might find interesting, like a tour of downtown. We got a tour of all the price points of homes, so that goes into great detail of Griffith's home values and things like that. And then this video will be on this playlist also. Here's what they are. And I am a real estate agent licensed in Illinois and Indiana. I live in Dyer, Indiana, so I'd love to help you with your buying or selling journey. Please reach out if I could help you. Contact information is here on the screen and description below. There's all kinds of ways to get in touch. We'd love to help you out there. All right, so more demographics, slide about religion. You can read the slide here. This is from citydata.com. I get into other demographics. It looks like reading some of this. 64% white, 16% black, Hispanic about 18%, Asian about 2%, 2+ races 1.6% as of 2022. Population, you see population's been generally steady. Griffith is built out, so there's really not anywhere else here we go back to this slide. We'll see here that this is pretty much all built out. and this is kind of commercial area. So there's potential for a little bit more development, but as how things are laid out there. Other information about Griffith for commuting, like say you wanted to use the train to get somewhere. In Griffith itself, downtown, there is a train of which there's a lot of fun activities and cool stuff to do related to the train. And as you see here, so we're on kind of the south area of the town of Griffith. There's a couple trains that go through, but they're not really, it's not like a commuting option. So there is a downtown area here that's got a pretty cool train exhibit. Let's actually bring the guy here so we can look at that. And we'll come back to this. This is the Erie Lackawanna Trail, but you'll see a lot of images of that right here. This Griffith sign, and this is one of like the staple things is the Griffith Historic Park. About train in the area. This is the Erie Lackawanna Trail, which is this really long route. I think it's an old, it was abandoned railroad line that is now like bike trails and stuff like that. And then this is the south end of the downtown. So, we'll circle back to that, but it's a pretty cool downtown experience there. Let me get back to my slides here. Again, commuting, there's not really any real good nearby options. More information about that is here. And train commuting, if you did want to take the train to the city, you'd be looking to go to Homewood to go north. Or here is the Indiana bound train. So there's East Chicago, Gary, Miller Beach, or Hammond areas where you'd hop on a train to go to the city. Just going back to other demographics, this is how the town has voted in the recent years. You see Democratic, Republican. For crime, again, on this graph here, you see that 50 is actually the median. I think this graphic's a little misleading, but 50 being the U.S. average. So we're at 29.3%. And then again, more data about this can be found at city data. And what I always find nice to know is that if you're moving to a town or interested in the town, what's the crime like around the area? So Highland is just right in the area. So you go Highland, Cherryville, Munster, Dyer, Gary. The towns that immediately abut you in Griffith are Highland, Cherryville, Munster, and like Dyer right over there. But they're all, it's all pretty safe area. All right, another video that'd be interested if you all about Northwest Indiana. I have a video that goes into the history of Northwest Indiana itself and has a lot more information about the general region. And we have community videos and playlists for all these different towns and then more. So again, check out those links. They'll be in the description below if you want to check out any of those playlists. So getting more into specifics of Griffith, this is information from niche.com. And so we'll see that niche.com gives Griffith, ranks at the number 7 best place to live in Lake County. And here's some information on why it's given what it is. When it comes to, I always like their analysis here. Living in Griffith offers residents a dense suburban feel, and most of the residents own their homes. There's a lot of restaurants and parks. There are families live in Griffith, and residents tend to have moderate political views, and public schools in Griffith are highly rated. Northwest Indiana. Oh, this is a quick slide about time zones. So yellow here is Eastern time zone. So most of Indiana is Eastern time zone. Frankly, Northwest Indiana is generally a Chicago suburb, and our time zone is tied to the central time zone of Chicago. So we actually stay on central time. All right, so now we're going to talk about water source. And so Northwest Indiana, you're either on Lake Michigan water or you're on well water. And this is kind of a schematic of generally how well water works. But in Griffith, we're actually luckily on Lake Michigan water, because in the region, if you're on well water, there's a mineral buildup, and you'll see this in areas like Cedar Lake. You'll see this a lot because they're on well water, where sprinkler systems will leave residue. And these slides talk through treatment of well water. But since Griffith is on Lake Michigan water, then you don't really have to worry about that. And each town has to produce what's called a consumer confidence report that gives a detailed analysis of their drinking water source, found at this link, and they'll be linked in the description here below. So if you wanted to read a bunch of very maybe not most fun information, but here we go. This is the CCR, as we call it, the Consumer Confidence Report. So this just has information about the sampling of the water and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in learning more, that would be the spot to go for that. We talked a little bit about the location of Griffith. Let's dive in that a little bit more. Yeah, so with Griffith, again, here's the town outline. Just to the southwest is Cherryville. Just to the southeast is Maryville. To the northeast here on the other side of 94, so 94 kind of makes like a pretty strong boundary line, is Gary, and then Gary's also a little bit over here too. Just to the northwest is Highland, and yeah, so there's lots of, so if you lived in Griffith, you know, your day-to-day, you usually find yourself is, you know, there's grocery stores right in the area, but our family finds ourselves a lot. If you need to do like a big grocery run, what we would do is generally go to Maryville area. And so over here, there's like a big Meijer grocery store over here. There's a Costco, I think right over here, that we go to get, you know, stock up on supplies. And so from here to over here, you know, you're looking at 15 minutes or so, not bad at all. Griffith has a pretty cool downtown area. And so there's things to do, like if you want to go out to eat and or go to the park, there's, you know, some pretty cool stuff. So again, we're downtown on Broad Street, so there's a community park here. You know, there's a number of parks. They're at the schools too. We'll get into the schools here in a second, but the downtown is pretty neat. So I'm gonna fly into the downtown here with my Google Earth guy. All right, yeah, and just for perspective, so I'm gonna go kind of the south of the south end of the downtown area. And so that's right by, so we're on Broad Street, railroad tracks, and then so we'll fly north a bit. So I got places on, so you'll see there's a pharmaceutical center, John's Pizzeria, billiards. I Dig Dinos, that's a pretty cool store right here. It's like you have events and stuff. It's all dinosaur related, like a, you know, a kid venue, True Barbecue Whiskey Bar. There's a bunch of other cool stuff here. There's like a gun and safe shop over here, a Grindhouse Cafe. We've got a bowling alley over here. There's a bunch of other stuff that's not popping up right there. The Masonic Lodge. Got community park coming up, another pizza place here. We've got a nice sized park here with basketball courts, pizza place. And then the downtown goes over on this street too, a bit too. But it's a pretty cool area. For a really good walkthrough of the downtown area, my playlist again on downtown.
Downtown Griffith, as you can see here, this is their welcome to the Griffith sign. We're going to do a downtown tour.
Yeah, so I won't play all that, but kind of doing some highlights here. This walks through, you know, that train area. Erie Lackawanna Trail, me plugging myself for real estate services, of course. And so this is a pretty cool, it would give you a bird's eye or an actual downtown view. And actually when we did this video, it was actually pretty cool because they have an annual street fest that happens. And so it shows you what it's like during that time period. That's my son Wyatt. He always helps me out with my videos. And one thing I'll zoom into is just to show you what a typical street looks like. So in Griffith, generally speaking for the region, the housing isn't the largest. You're talking generally like 1,200 square foot homes, or 2 stories would be, you know, around 2,000 square feet. There are different areas that have larger subdivisions, but the older areas of town you'll see is generally housing that's a little bit on the smaller side, generally speaking for the Northwest Indiana area. And so if you were looking at other towns, and so Highland is kind of similar in housing size and stock. Highland would be a little bit bigger than Griffith on housing side. Cherville's definitely a bit larger. Munster would be a larger homes too. Yeah, just a little heads up on housing stock size. All right, so now we're going to dig into schools. So where's the school district boundary and what are the schools and how are they rated? So I think we will turn back to my trusty Google Earth. All right, let me explain the line work here because there's a lot of colors going on. So red is the town boundaries. I like to leave that on so you can see where the town boundaries are. And this blue line is the school district zone. So the blue line for Griffith, the school district is called Griffith Public Schools. There are 3 schools that all the kids go to. And we've got Barringer Elementary School. We've got Griffith Junior Senior High School, so those are, you know, that's combined. And then we have Wadsworth Elementary School. and I have to check my notes, but one of these, your kids would go to all of these, because one of these, I gotta check my notes, is it's either Berger or Wadsworth. One's like K through 2, and then the other one is like 3 through 5, and then junior, senior high obviously takes you from 6 through high school. So those are the schools of Griffith. And so we're going to look at rankings of schools from niche.com again. And so niche.com gives Griffith Public Schools a B+ as number 6 best school district in Lake County. And here's some schematics, some details as to how the ranking is what it is. I always am intrigued by, so it says the 2005 students in pre-K through high school. Student to teacher ratio is 16:1, which is pretty good. Yeah, that's some jargon or language about test scores. So Berger Elementary School, it's ranked a B with these metrics, and there's 423 kids in pre-K through 6, student to teacher ratio of 15:1. And yep, there's some more facts there. We got Wadsworth Elementary rated a B, student teacher ratio of 15:1. Some info about test scores there. And Griffith Junior Senior High School is a B. So here's some metrics on that. Student to teacher ratio of 17:1. And then also wanted us to point out that part of, let me bring this back, there we go, is that so part of Griffith, although there's hardly any houses in there, so like this subdivision here, so if you live in this part of Griffith, you would actually be in the Lake Central School District, so that would be a different set of schools. Just wanted to point that out though, sometimes that confuses people that you move to a town, so you think you'd go to that town's school districts, but over here you'd actually be going to Lake Central. All right, so one thing I want to bring up too about schools is this is something my family benefits from, and the state of Indiana has a voucher program where the state will pay a good chunk of money towards private school tuition. And with that, like I'm in the Lake Central School District, and I believe the state pays up to $5,800 per kid towards private school, and I think our kids' private school is like $7,800, so we have to pay a couple grand a year. And they go to a private Christian school, and there's even like our school has a fundraiser system for our own resale shop, and so once all that stuff's kicked in, like we only pay like a grand a year to send our kids to a Christian private school, so it works out well for us. We used to not qualify for it because there were some different requirements, but a couple of years ago the state changed the requirements and a lot more people qualify now, and the income limits are pretty high. It's like for a family of 4, it's like $250,000 a year-ish or something like that. If you're under that, then you qualify for the program, and that's basically the only requirement. So more information is available here about the Choice Scholarship Program. And this link is in the description also, so if you want to learn more about that, feel free, check that out, or you can reach out to me. I'm glad to tell you our experience with that. Cool. And some things that are good to know about, like access to Chicago Midway or Chicago O'Hare Airport. So Griffith, we're looking at about 56 minutes. If you're curious about other towns, that's what the time it takes to get to O'Hare. I want to get into taxes a little bit. So this is just a tax bill in Northwest Indiana. In Griffith, taxes aren't this high because property values are generally a little lower, and we'll have a slide that follows this, but this just shows what how taxes work and go forward actually. So this is going to be information about house pricing, and then we'll come back to taxes. Is that so in Griffith, the median price for a home is, let me change my color here, median home price $229,000. And what does that get you? That gets you a 3-bed, 1-bath, almost 1,700 square foot home. The highest, I pulled the last 6 months of data, and so with that, the average days on market is only 7 days, so the market's pretty fast still. And the highest sale value that happened in the last 6 months is $429,000. And again, this might be a screen you want to look at again, just looking in the area to see what house prices are cost in the region. Yeah, and in that Griffith playlist, again, I have this video that goes way in the weeds on home pricing, and it pulls up houses at different price points and shows you how much know, if you have 150,000, what does that buy? 200,000, 250, 300. It just walks through the different price points, so you see what's available there. Also, property taxes. Again, the median property tax is $1,600, and this is taxes for homes in the area. And what does this get you? This is for a house that would be like a 3-bed, 1.5 to 2 bath, 1,800 square foot to 2,200 square foot house. So that's what the taxes are. And this is very important for people that aren't familiar with the region, is that so Northwest Indiana has a 1% property tax cap for owner occupied properties. When you buy a house and you're owner occupied, after closing, once your address is updated on your license, you then take that to the recorder's or the clerk's office, courthouse, there we go, and you fill out a tax exemption that says you're a homestead, and then your property tax is then capped at 1%. If you don't do that, then your tax cap is 2%. And so that's obviously a factor of 2 different. Now, one thing to note though, so if you're, and this is based off of assessed value. So if you buy a house, let's say $200,000, usually the assessed value is a little less. So say it's $180,000, then at $180,000, your tax cap would be $1,800 at 1%. But the difference is that voter approved projects can be additional. So with this $1,800, you might have like a school referendum. So that's my school here with a little smokestack. That's on top of that. Important to know, to make sure when you move, make sure we get your exemptions filed afterwards. Here's information about taxes. I'll fly through this. My Northwest Indiana video goes into great detail on this. There is no sales tax on food. That was exciting to me. We moved from Illinois, and it's nice to a state sales tax of 7%. No sales tax on food. Municipalities can't add additional tax. In Illinois, you can. So sometimes you get all kinds of bogus. I guess you could say bogus bonus taxes you didn't know about when you buy stuff. When it comes to income taxes, Indiana has a flat tax of 3.15% on income tax, but counties can impose additional taxes. And so in Lake County, there's an additional 1.5%. So you're all in at 4.65%. In Illinois, you're at 5%. So you're a little less being in Northwest Indiana here, but good to know, because a lot of times people will just look at the tax, the state tax, and they'll say, oh, Illinois is 5%, Indiana's 3.15. That's a big difference. But a lot of people don't realize that there's a supplemental county tax. I just pulled up the latest data. That last slide was a placeholder. So this is the latest data on Griffith. So there's about 2.6 months of inventory on the market. List to sold price about 98%. Median sold price $254,000. And that's really the highlights. This shows property value trends over time. This is just kind of interesting more than anything. So Griffith is this blue line that shows appreciation through the area. The Lake County is this line. You see the whole region's going up, well, the whole United States is going up. Indiana here, and then USA is this guy too. So we see that everything's steadily climbing, and that we'll see that we're still at record prices. It's always interesting to see the craziness that went down during 2008 over here. Just in case you're interested in data there, you can come back and freeze frame this. It just talks about pending listings, sold listings, days on market, and things like that. Cool. All right, so getting back to our presentation, I want to show you this house is on the market right now. So I just pulled up 3-bed, 1.5 or 1 3/4. So you'd have like 2 full showers. And that's the only filter. So at least 3 beds, at least 1 3/4 showers, just to show you what price points are and generally what you're looking at. So this house here, $234,000. This guy, $260,000. You got a bi-level house here. You can look through a couple photos. I'll just go through this quickly, but in the other video I have in the playlist goes through this in great detail. Let's see what $330,000. Okay, that's a brand new house. $335,000, $340,000. These are some new townhouses, and here's $380,000. So that's actually the most expensive house that's on the market right now in Griffith. As for things to do in Griffith, Indiana, and you're very close to Maryville, Valparaiso, Chicago even, so there's lots to do in the area. Griffith itself has lots of parks. Downtown Griffith's pretty cool. In other areas of again, you got the Erie-Lackawanna Trail, which this trail system, we're in the south end. Yeah, this trail system goes like 20-30 miles or something all through. It takes you like the Crown Point all the way up north towards the city. So that's pretty cool if you're into biking. You're very, very close to Lake Michigan for in the summer. Beach is a nice option there. Looking through parks, we've got Central Park. It's got baseball fields, a nice playground. It's got a army tank. Who doesn't love a good army tank? Cheever Park, Panther Park, South Park, and a number of other parks in the area. So there's a good amount of outdoor activity. Obviously that would need warmer weather. And in the area, again, there's lots to do in Northwest Indiana itself. There's like a sky zone for kids. All right, and that concludes our walkthrough of Griffith, Indiana. Hope that was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, here's all my contact information. Please feel free to reach out. We'd love to help you buy or sell in the region. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around town.